Welcome, everybody, to our Ayurveda talk. Have you ever noticed that when you get stressed out or life gets to be a little bit hectic, or maybe there's other things going on that you're not even aware of, and it starts to affect your sleep? Well, Ayurveda has a really interesting way of how we deal with interrupted sleep, insomnia, and there's lots of different causes. So we're going to talk tonight about how Ayurveda deals with sleepless nights or insomnia. Now, I'm Marie. I'm an Ayurvedic health practitioner, and we are talking tonight about what happens when you are not sleeping at night. Now, in Ayurveda, there are biorhythms that move through the day. We have that in Western medicine too. So morning is going to have a really different feel than the afternoon and then the evening. And these rhythms change throughout the day. And the reason why this is important when it comes to sleep is what's waking you up or preventing you from sleeping in the beginning of the evening is very different energy than what wakes you up or prevents you from sleeping later in the evening. So if you are having trouble falling asleep, you are having trouble with, or you fall asleep right away, but then you wake up and your mind goes into everything that you're trying to solve in your life, your to-do list, who you needed to call, who you need to contact, work, and then family and everything, just life's stuff, to-do list. And it's very, you're trying to solve problems or you're fixated on something. You can't settle down the mind. You're ruminating on the same type of thoughts or thinking over and over and over. That's the fire element showing up, preventing you from sleeping. So it's pitta time of night when we first go to bed. In Ayurveda, they recommend that you go to bed around 10 p.m. If you go to bed later than that, what happens is you get to what's called pitta time, and you literally get a second wind. That's why the disco doesn't get going great until around midnight, right? Because you're full on into pitta time. And pitta is all about fire, energy, intensity, passion. It's a get things done kind of energy. So pitta time is from 10 until 2. So if you're having trouble during that time of the night, that is pitta. It's the fire element. That is going to be a completely different resolve compared to the other time of the night, which is when a lot of people wake up. So a lot of people have sleep issues between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And that is a different energy that's waking you up. That's vata. So that's ether and air waking you up. It's a more subtle energy. And vata, when it is out of balance, tends to have anxiety. There's scatteredness. It's sporadic. And so that type of energy wakes you up. So if you're waking up in the early morning, oftentimes it's nightmares. There's fears surfacing. There's anxiety that surfaces at that time. Panic attacks can happen at that time. And what that's telling you is you're not resolving issues throughout the day. And you most likely have a lifestyle that doesn't allow your body to go into sleep in a restful, stable way. So typically speaking, insomnia is a vata issue. Vata being ether, air. So that means that it's anxiety. It's you have too much of a vata lifestyle. There's lack of routine. There's lack of steadiness. There's lack of stability. So vata gets pushed out of shape, and we are in vata season. So insomnia is more likely to happen during vata season. We're in it right now. Fall and winter is vata season. Okay, so I'm going to use Dr. Vasant Lad. Some of the information that he provides for insomnia is oftentimes it is a vata issue, most of the time, unless you're dealing with the beginning part of the evening when you're trying to fall asleep and you can't fall asleep, or you fall asleep and then you get woken up by everything you need to get done, your to-do list. You're ruminating on things. You had an argument with somebody the day before and you're just thinking about it and thinking about it. You cannot settle down. That's pitta. That is different energy, okay? But most of the time it is vata, and Dr. Lad says it's usually vata that causes insomnia. Vata dosha is going to affect the mind and the nervous system, okay? They're hand in hand. So if your nervous system disrupted, your mind's going to be disrupted. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have doubt. You're going to have those other things. Now, you can have physical stuff that's going on in your body that can cause you to wake up and have insomnia. So digestive issues. And I'll tell you right now, your biggest meal of the day needs to be lunchtime. We have to get out of the habit that we have here in the West, and there's a few other countries that do it too, where you eat a big meal at night. Because when you go to sleep, at that time, it's when your body is going to rest and restore. You cannot do it if you've eaten a big, huge meal, because now your body has to deal with digesting this big meal. So we want to help our body be as efficient as possible. We want to wake up rested and rejuvenated. We want to reverse the aging process and the disease pathway. And you do that by not bogging down your system. So stop eating heavy, big meals at night. It really is going to help you. You will wake up feeling very fresh. Not kidding. If you're going to have something at night, have like soups. Those are the best. That's what I do. I have soups at night. Super nourishing, easy to digest. Okay, now it can also be from stress that can cause insomnia, like we had talked about. It can be a pitta stress or it can be a vata stress. Okay, it can be from being overtired. So if you get overtired, that can also cause insomnia. And also being fatigued. Now, the more stress you have in your life, the harder it is to sleep. And sleep issues can become chronic. I have friends, they're not clients yet, but I'm pulling them in. I have friends that have been taking sleeping pills for years. And that's what they do to try to sleep. Now, that is not dealing with the root cause why you're not sleeping. And Ayurveda is interested in the root cause. Why are you not sleeping? There's always a root cause. Okay, now, what are some things that you could do to help insomnia? Well, first of all, we need to stop stimulating ourselves. So no phone, no computer, no TV at night. Turn off all your devices at night. I do not even have a TV in my bedroom. Get rid of it. Cover it all up. I have friends that are super sensitive and they even unplug their router at night. They just completely disconnect it because it causes this vibration. I've had clients who ended up having sleep issues and there was no reason for them to have sleep issues. They had a stable life, everything. And we figured out they had moved into an apartment that was a smart apartment. That means everything was electronic, everything. It was vibrating this entire apartment. They couldn't escape it. And it really started to affect us. Remember, we vibrate. We vibrate. So when things are vibrating around you, it's going to start impacting you eventually. And so we figured out that's what it was for her. That's why she couldn't sleep. She had to get out of that apartment. And once she got out of that apartment, her sleep completely went back to normal. We also had her buy a bunch of plants and things like that. Okay, now warm milk at night, and you can add a pinch of cardamom and a pinch of nutmeg or golden turmeric milk. I have a recipe for that. It's a fantastic recipe. reach out to me and I will email that to you. And also, you can do cherries. Believe it or not, if you can get cherries, cherries are really good for mental fatigue. So it's great for pitta and stress. So if your issues are you can't sleep, you can't settle the mind, you're ruminating, then you want to do cherries. Okay. Also great for, with the cherries, just so you know, you want to have about 15 to 20 cherries. Okay. They'll help you sleep. Yum. I love cherries. I grew up on a cherry orchard. So, cherries are kind of special to me. Tomato juice. Now, if you're a little more pitta, you have to be careful with with tomato juice. It's very acidic. So if you have heartburn at all, you cannot do tomato juice. But if you're good with that, you're going to drink a cup of tomato juice with 2 tablespoons of natural sugar and 2 pinches of nutmeg. Nutmeg is going to calm everything down. Okay. And then you have that between 4 and 5 in the afternoon. And then at dinner, 6 and 7, you have it again. And in the evening, you should end up sleeping very soundly. There are also herbs that you can take that help with sleep, like valerian and chamomile. So you can get tea. The sleepy time tea is very beneficial. And so you can do that. Other things is massaging with warm oil, taking a bath at night. Also, there are yoga postures that you can do that promote sleep. We're going to do a few tonight. And they also help calm down an agitated mind. So it's really great to do these just before you go to bed. Resolve anxieties, and then also doing a meditation before you go to bed or yoga nidra. So yoga nidra is really special because it is literally helping to connect your circuitry in a way that allows for deep relaxation. So if you haven't tried yoga nidra, you got to try it. The Western version of yoga nidra is non-sleep deep rest. So that's NDSR. You might hear that. That's yoga nidra, you guys. It's the same thing. But, in the West, when they decide to label it something, they have to make it sound really sciencey. So non-sleep deep rest is tons of research behind it. Fantastic for sleep. Very, very wonderful. And then if you're doing a meditation, you want to do Soham because Soham is very calming. Okay. So that is our talk for tonight. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And sleep is very important. Remember, there are only 3 pillars of health in Ayurveda. If you balance those 3 pillars of health, you will have a wonderful life. The first one is digestion. The second one is sleep, you guys. So that is how important sleep is because you do not rejuvenate and regenerate and get cleaned out if you don't sleep. Okay. Third one is energy. All right, you guys. So let's get going with our practice. We are going to do a practice today that helps us release tension, but a little bit of postures for great sleep. We're doing that tonight.